Lord Rockbottom, expedition financier, mercenary privateer, Ruick character solo. That dwarf can make a coin sit up, spin, and even dance. We don't ask where they come from, so long as he keeps them coming. Mr. Walls, quartermaster of the Talon. Few aboard the Talon are more striking in appearance than the dwarf lord Joln Rockbottom. With a wooden leg and an imperious countenance, he stands at attention in the forecastle, wearing a well-tailored bright red jacket with polished brass buttons and a tremendous bicorn perched atop his head. Comical as though he may appear, none who have sailed long aboard the Talon would dare so much as chuckle when he could hear it. The dwarf has a position of singular importance among the crew and boasts a deadlier hand with weapons than appearances would suggest. His combat prowess is not what keeps the men in line, however. Rockbottom is the ship's treasurer, maintaining finances and paying the crew. His dizzying contact portfolio keeps the Talon working, and though the outfit has a shady reputation in many ports, Jones' bribes and negotiations often obscure any misdeeds with an air of legitimacy. Without the dwarf, the Talon could not maintain its aggressive posture and would not find any welcome ports at all. Rockbottom is offended by characterizations of rule folk as greedy meddlers. He insists that most rule folk are good-hearted and focus on their families and crafts. Joan has only chosen to master the craft of speculative finance, a sacred calling emulating the great father Gerd, the patron of wealth. Rockbottom will not explain the exact conditions under which he left rule or the exact status of his quote-unquote lordship. Rumors describe a dispute with the Moot of the 100 Houses over a breach of the Edict of Ownership. Apparently, the Moot lacked sufficient evidence to execute or brand Joan, but some have speculated that he chose a life at sea in an attempt to obey their dictate to stay as far away from rule as physically possible. He still has friends in both the Glass Peaks and the Signarin Dwarven conclaves, as well as an ally or two in the Seaforge Commission. Rockbottom soon developed an association with the cutthroat Macarian League, which at first seemed to be a perfect match, until his greed and perchance for constructing webs of delicate alliances eventually soured his relationship with the organization. No one knows the full extent of his dealings, but he has kept company with Crixian smugglers, Kazi assassins, and Caspian inventors, sometimes all in the same day. Rockbottom believes a well-placed coin can solve nearly any political or legal difficulty. This philosophy backfired, however, in his position as paymaster and financier for the Exeter, and put him in cross purposes with her notoriously paranoid captain, who called him out on several charges. Joan was guilty of many of the allegations leveled against him, all except insurrection. He preferred to let others lead and to influence indirectly using coin. The crew's efforts to save him from the Exeter's brig, however, moved him genuinely, and he is grateful to Doc Killingsworth for removing his gangrenous leg before the subsequent mutiny. Most aboard the Talon's crew view Rockbottom as Captain Shay's equal, and he might very well be the linchpin that holds the very ship together. His financial prowess and political acumen perfectly complement Shay's courage and tactical brilliance. In fact, Jones still owns a small fleet of merchant vessels, and invests some of the proceeds from these outside interests to maintaining the Talon, among other dubious ventures. Recently, he has taken a great interest in his private fleet after coming into possession of a rudder that showed the way to the distant and barely explored continent of Zu. He has taken measures to journey to its main trading port and back, establishing several lucrative deals, and certainly hopes to leverage this into even greater gains in the future. Rockbottom dreams big and hopes someday to influence trade across the entire region, as well as possibly fund some other expeditions to exotic locales. Meanwhile, he uses the luxuries gained through pillage at sea to increase his comfort while aboard the pirate vessel. No one aboard the Talon resents the fact that Rockbottom never lifts a hand to help in mundane tasks. Such menial things, after all, are beneath a lord.